Hello, welcome to another exciting edition of Sowing a Bourbon. I'm Glenn, this is Charlie. Charlie, tell them what we're doing. This is part 2, right?
Part 2, Ben Holladay. Now we're on to the Missouri bourbons.
Okay, so this is part 2 of
Ben Holladay.
Yep. Part 1 was fantastic. Part 2, we have what? Tell them.
The Missouri bourbon. So part 1 was all their weeded stuff and recapping what made Ben Holladay a boss man. We're not going to recap all of that. Know a couple of things about Ben Holladay. He was a boss man.
He was a boss man. And what I really want to focus on in this episode is House Bill 266 that passed in 2019 in Missouri.
Oh,
Missouri.
Missouri.
Don't kill us.
Missourians.
Missourians. Is it Missourians?
I don't know.
I don't know. So, Missouri, in 2019, there was a bill that was passed in Missouri House, and it said that Missouri bourbon.
Missouri bourbon.
I'm just going to say Missouri.
There you go.
Bourbon must be mashed, fermented, distilled, aged, and bottled in the state of Missouri.
Okay.
On top of that,
Okay.
and this was added. On top of that, it must be aged in oak barrels manufactured in the state. Like that's pretty.
That's like, hey,
like Missouri.
If it's Missouri bourbon, it's Missouri bourbon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in 2020, they passed an amendment, I guess, or an addendum to the bill that said it must be made with corn grown in the state. So that's pretty cool. I love that. I really do.
I love that. You should love that. Every state should do that. That is awesome because that is how you control product and quality. That is awesome.
You can still make it in Missouri and call it bourbon. You just can't call it Missouri
bourbon. Yeah, if you want to put some respect on that name, it's got to be grown in that state. Now we're drinking Missouri bourbon. Mash bill, 73% corn, 15% rye, 12% malted barley.
You ready?
This is bottled in bond, 100 proof, and this is 6 years old because they don't.
That's another thing I love about this distillery.
It's insane.
Is they could have sourced their whiskey for the first 5 or 6 years. They didn't.
So
they waited. They put it out a bottled in bond, which only has to be 4 years old. But did they put out a 4-year-old bourbon?
Let's put a 6.
They were like,
crazy.
Let's go 6.
Crazy. One thing I love about craft distillers, and I don't know if you would call, I guess you would call them a craft distillers, is they often have a signature color. For example, Hard Truth. The Hard Truth releases have an orange hue to it.
Right.
I don't know why, but it does.
This is more of an amber.
These are so light, and if I was drinking it for the first time and I didn't know anything about it, I would be like, that's really light. If you didn't tell me this was 6 years old, I'd be like, that's
well,
like...
maybe they use a light char on their barrels.
I don't know, but it is very light in color. It has great legs, though. Let us know. As you can see, I'm drinking out of the big glass tonight. Ooh, yes.
That's a very nice nose. It's not quite as floral as the soft red winter wheat.
Well, now we're into rye land instead of wheat.
Yeah.
It is not.
You can pick up the rye.
Yeah, there's a little bit of rye pepper on it. What I would call just classic bourbon profile, like just
got almost an apple.
There is definitely some fruit on the nose. Really nice. 100 proof, 6 years old, Ben Holladay.
It's very crisp. And it's been a while since we've had one of those that had that really crisp upfront feel to it.
Yeah. We use the term, you've used it a couple of times tonight, that effervescence to it. First drink is all effervescent. Second drink, start to get that rye spice on kind of the tip and the side of your tongue. I'm amazed at how different and similar it is to the weeded bottled in bond. Absolutely approachable, absolutely sippable, flavorful without being overpowering.
Not super complex.
It's not
pretty straight up.
It is a little bit of spice, a little bit of sweetness on the front.
Yeah.
I find that at least for this one, there's not a ton of oakiness, but there is a kind of a weightiness to the finish, but it all kind of sits in the middle, like front middle of your tongue. It's not a ton of oakiness. The rye spice hangs around for a long time.
The rye spice does hang around, and it's got a nice caramel note to it.
Nose is great.
Little bit of chocolate.
Yeah, no, it has a great nose, kind of apple.
Yeah.
Rye apple sweetness. It's a really great, and again, retails for around $60.
$60 for a 6-year-old.
A 6-year-old age-stated bottled and bond. I like that one.
It's good. I think at this point, I prefer the weeded.
If I had to go bottled and bond versus bottled and bond, I think I like the weeded a little better.
But don't get me wrong, not bad.
Oh no, not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad. Put your empty up here, because now we're gonna go to the 120.1 proof.
This is going to be interesting.
This is going to be interesting. So the one thing that I will say, if you watched episode 1, part 1 of this, is how amazed we were at how different it was jumping up in proof. It was completely different. It wasn't even similar.
Do you ever wonder if Dave Vogelsang just poured shit in these?
Just random. It's
He
poison.
didn't tell us.
Yeah, it's just poison. So it's possible.
He just labeled them. It's probably all the same thing, and
it is. It's all Kessler's blended whiskey.
He wouldn't do that. Dave wouldn't do that.
Dave's a consummate professional.
He shrink wrapped.
He did. He
awesome.
shrink wrapped the thing. I do feel like the color on this one may be a tad darker.
It's a little, it's a shade darker.
A shade darker,
but it's still not what
has
you
that
expect
same.
What's
120.1 proof.
A little lighter than what you would expect.
Yeah.
Which is fine. There's no ethanol
at
all on it nose.
It's just crazy.
I feel
120.1.
I almost feel like this nose is muted.
It is
muted.
It 100% is. The bottled and bond, I got some rye and some apple. This one I'm having a hard time getting much of anything.
There's a little bit of char, a little bit of
kind of
a little bit of caramel, a little bit of corn.
You know you're nosing bourbon, but it's nothing that you're like, oh wow.
But that fruit that was on the first one is not anywhere near as prevalent.
You say that, I was just getting ready to say the one thing I get is a Granny Smith apple. A Granny Smith apple peel.
But I don't feel like it's as forward.
Yeah.
All
right.
Cheers. I'm going to let you go.
Are you? It's hard not to be romantic about bourbon. So here's the...
Take my glasses off for that.
The Ben Holladay, the difference between the bottled and bonds and the barrel proofs or the 120 proofs is unbelievable. This is sweet and spicy and effervescent and floral and fruity, and it just sits. I just took I took a sip, I swirled it around, I'm still talking, and I'm still tasting it. So good. It's so good.
It's just a beautiful bourbon. It's a straight up, once again, not like super complex. It's just a really good barrel proof, straight up bourbon.
It checks, like in anything in life, you're checking boxes, right? Does it have some sweetness? Check. Does it have some spiciness? Check. Does it have some fruitiness? Check. Does it have some oakiness? Check. Is there a little proof behind it? Check. Is it something that you want to drink again? Check. You want to keep drinking it? Check.
I will say, a little more ethanol on the palate here for me.
Really?
Yeah. Once again, and this is surprising, I would go with the red winter wheat over the straight bourbon, which is surprising to me.
I really like this one. I really like that
They're
one.
both great. They're both good.
I liked the weeded, both regular, the bottled and bond and barrel proof. I think that 6-year barrel proof is
Think so?
is a really great bottle. A really
Oh
great
yeah,
bottle.
no doubt. No doubt.
They were all very good.
You can get your hands on any of them, but especially the barrel proof or the Rickhouse proof.
Yeah,
That's what they call it. They try to distinguish themselves a little bit. And they're single barrels. They call them one barrels.
oh,
Anyway, I love Ben Holladay. I'm like, I want to go to Missouri and kind of tour this distillery, right? Ben Holladay, if you're watching, I mean,
they're not, but that's
I
okay. I will tell you this: I absolutely understand the hype and the excitement and the fervor around everything Ben Holladay. These are unbelievable. Thank you again, Dave, for these. This was a great two-parter. We absolutely enjoyed it.
yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely check it out. I mean, in the days of, and really quickly, we're kind of in a weird phase in the bourbon economy. If you go to a Total Wine or a big liquor store, you see a lot of non-distilling producers, a lot of just mystery bourbon that's $70, $80. And if you're in many of those big box stores, they're starting to slash prices on it. To have someone like a Ben Holladay that is very transparent in what they're doing.
Waited 6 years to put out. They didn't source.
Those people,
Which makes me think, God, who was backing them?
that's crazy.
They've got some money behind them, right?
It is absolutely crazy to think that not only did they not source anything, but to have the patience to not wait 4 years, but to wait 6 years to release a bottled and bond.
Unbelievable. Love
You
it.
want to talk about in it to win it? That's in it to win
All
it.
right, Charlie, let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap it.
Tell them what to do.
Like and subscribe here on the YouTube because that's how you're going to get more Ben Holladay Stagecoach material.
That's right. Check us out at So Into Bourbon on Instagram and Facebook. And
Whiskey Realtor on TikTok.
don't forget, keep your wallets loose.
And your bungholes tight. Good night, everybody. Ben Holladay.
A little
He's a
bit.
little baby.
Are you all right?
He's a little baby. He's a little baby, guys. Ben Holladay. Action.